Hello students, welcome to the lecture on research reports, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Describe the difference between research and technical reports, discuss guidelines for writing research report, explain norms for the research report, understand components of the research report, discuss research report presentation, describe long and short reports, explain formal and informal reports. Research versus technical reports. Let us first find out what research reports are. Research reports or academic reports are those reports which are prepared by students in their course of study or attaining a degree. These reports are generally research reports as they are prepared keeping in view a research problem. They are also known as thesis or research papers. A research or academic report is different from a technical or business report. Let's know the major differences between the two. Technical report writing usually forms an important part of business in normal course, whereas a research report is an academic requirement. A technical business report is written on an issue, project, pertaining to the working of the organization, its sales, progress, etc. A research report is written on a research completed in an industry, business, company under the joint supervision of an industry expert and faculty of the concerned institute. A technical business report is submitted to a committee or to a supervisor for evaluation or for further action. Research report is submitted for evaluation under the guidance of the project supervisor and the faculty. A business report is written during the course of business. The research project report is written at the end of summer term, during which a live project is done and successfully completed. A business report may be informational in nature, not necessarily based on a live research. A research report records the findings and results of an actual project done within a given time. Business reports are more practical in nature as compared to academic reports. Academic research reports are more compulsive in nature. Not everyone in the organization may be asked to prepare a business report, but all the students in the course of study are required to prepare an academic research report. Both research and business technical reports have a standard format and structure that consists nearly of the same parts. Writing research reports. To write research reports effectively, one needs to know what actually is a research report and what for is it written. After the knowledge of this basic information, one should have a firm grip on writing a research report. Let us watch a video that teaches how to write a research paper.
First, what is a research paper exactly? Well, there are a few things you need to know. First, a research paper is your exploration of a topic. You choose a topic that's interesting to you. Could be any topic, it depends on the class. And then you're going to explore that topic, research it, find some information about it, and think about what you think about the topic. Next, it should have your original ideas about the topic. What is your opinion on this topic? What are your thoughts on this topic? And finally, a research paper, obviously, should have research. Now, why do you need to include research in an essay? Well, there are two reasons, and the first one is that you want to prove that you understand the topic. You can't just start talking about a topic that you're interested in and tell us all your thoughts and ideas on it. You need to prove that you've done some research on this topic. You know the issues. You know the many different sides of the argument, what people think about this topic. It proves that you really do understand what you're talking about. You also want research to support your point of view. In America, it's not enough just to say, this is what I believe, and you should agree with me. You need to show that other experts in the field have also had similar ideas, and they can support your ideas on the topic. Your ideas are more respected if you have research to back them up. Now, you might be thinking, what kind of research do I need? Well, I think there are mainly two different kinds you might need. The first is background information and facts. When you're writing about a topic, you need to explain that topic to us at first. Tell us what the issues are. Explain anything that we need to know to understand your paper. Now, in terms of facts, you're going to need research to support your facts if the facts are not commonly known. This is an important time to think about your audience. Who is your audience for this paper? In my class, you should imagine that your audience is Americans. Any general, educated American. So that means if you're writing about an issue that you don't think Americans will know much about, you need some research to support your facts. You can't just tell me, for instance, oh, this is the law in my country. As an American, that's not common knowledge to me. I don't know if that's true. So you need to have a citation, some kind of fact that I could look up myself to prove that that's true. On the other hand, if you want to tell me, for instance, that America was a country that was founded on July 4th, 1776, well, that's very common knowledge in America. Everyone knows that, so you wouldn't need to find a citation to support that. Your audience would understand it. So you have to consider what information your audience probably already knows and what information they don't know. The next thing is that you need research to support your argument. This might be in the form of statistics. You might need numbers, percentages that could provide good support for your argument. Or you might want other well-stated arguments, someone else who has had a similar opinion to you and has stated their argument very clearly and very well so that people would respect it. You might want to bring in their ideas to show that your ideas are also very good. For example, let's say you're writing an essay about lowering the drinking age in the United States. It's 21 right now, and you think the drinking age should be lowered to 18. Here's some research that you might want for that topic. You might want to do some research about drinking age laws in the United States and the history of these laws. The drinking age in the United States right now is 21, but it hasn't always been 21. It used to be 18, and that was changed a few decades ago. You would want to do some research on that and find out that information. This is not common knowledge for Americans, so you would need to provide a citation and support your facts. You might also want to do some research on statistics about drunk driving or other accidents caused by drinking. There are a lot of accidents that drinking causes, and if you're trying to argue that we should lower the drinking age, some people might say that it will make things more dangerous. So you might want some statistics that would prove the opposite. And finally, you might want some quotes from a respected source about drinking. If you find a good article where someone has argued that the drinking age should be lowered, they agree with your point of view, you might want to quote some lines from their article to show that someone else has had this idea and they support what you're saying. Now, the next thing is how you add research to your paper. This is a little tricky. This is always the hardest part for students. But here's my advice. First, you should write an outline for your paper. That's very important. You need to get your ideas written on paper and in an organized format so that you know what your opinion of the topic is and you know your reasons for your opinion. Then you decide where you add research. Your opinions and ideas first, then think about where you will need research to support your opinions and ideas. And then finally, of course, add your research. First, you want to make your point, whatever your opinion is on the topic, your reason for having that opinion, and then you need to add the research to support your point. Here's an example. Again, let's say you're working on that essay about lowering the drinking age. So your point, perhaps, is that lowering the drinking age will not significantly increase the number of drunk driving accidents. Now you need to add your support. Well, good support for this argument would be to find a statistic that shows that that's true. Perhaps you might find a statistic that shows that the number of drunk driving accidents for 18 to 20-year-olds is not really a very big number when you compare it to the number of drunk driving accidents caused by people over the age of 21. So you might find that actually, really, it's not very dangerous. It doesn't seem like 18 to 20-year-olds drive very dangerously, seem to drive a lot when they're drunk. So that would be a statistic that would prove that there's no problem with lowering the drinking age. That would definitely help that argument. Another example, still with the drinking age essay. Let's say your point is that keeping the drinking age at 21 actually encourages more reckless, dangerous behavior. There are some people, for instance, who believe that keeping the drinking age at 21, it makes it seem kind of exciting. 18-year-olds want to drink even more because it's illegal, it's forbidden. And when you're 18 and you're stupid, you want to do crazy, ridiculous things. So if the drinking age were 18, it wouldn't seem so exciting to drink. It wouldn't seem so forbidden. So maybe it's actually better to lower the drinking age. Now, if that's your point, it's a good point. To add your support, you would probably at this point want to find an article that makes a similar argument. An article that says that young people always want to do what they're forbidden to do. As soon as someone tells us, no, you're not allowed to do it, suddenly, of course, we have to do it. An argument that you could find in an article like that would definitely help your point. A few things to always remember. The first thing is that a research paper is mostly about your opinion. First and foremost, you should be telling us your opinion on the topic, your thoughts about this topic. You shouldn't just be summarizing research articles. This is different from, for instance, a reaction essay, where you want to summarize an article that you've read and then respond to it. So the article comes first and your opinion comes second. In a research paper, your opinion comes first and the research is second. You should always make sure that another important point is that your ideas are about the topic are your ideas. You should not copy from other sources. What's going to be very tempting when you do your research is that you will find really good articles that have very good ideas about the topic. They are better ideas than you had, more interesting, more original ideas than what you had. And so what might happen is that you will make those ideas your main argument. You'll take those ideas and say, oh, I never thought about that before. And you'll make those the main arguments for your paper. You can't do that. You can't write a paper based on someone else's arguments. You need to have your own ideas first. First, your own thoughts about the topic, and then you can find people to support it. Make sure that you don't copy your ideas from your sources. In essence, like I said before, write your outline first with your ideas, and then do your research. That way, you make sure you don't play.
Components of research report. The overall design, form, and style would remain the same for all research reports. The research report should appear in the following order. Cover and title page. It includes title, name of the student, guide, and organization, certificate of approval, and approval of organizational and faculty guides. These are the two statements authenticating the work done and are put right in the beginning of the report. Abstract. It should state clearly and concisely the topic, scope, method, and conclusions. Acknowledgements. Students are advised to acknowledge help and support from faculty members, library, computer center, outside experts, their sponsoring organizations, and so on. Table of contents. Every research report must contain a table of contents which provides a view of the organization of the report material. List of figures, tables, appendices, and abbreviations. If the research report contains tables, figures, and abbreviations used, they should be listed immediately following the table of contents on separate pages. Chapter 1, Introduction. It should include a brief summary of the company and its business. This should include the specific business or functional problem being faced by the organization. Chapter 2, Research Design. The research design will contain 5 subsections, namely the general methodology adopted for study, the sample or data source specifications, the detailed sampling plan and the procedure adopted for sampling, the data collection procedure, the data analysis carried out, the quantitative or qualitative analysis techniques, and the form of the outputs of analysis. Chapter 3, Results and Conclusions. This section includes all the tabulated and text descriptions of the results obtained in the study. Last chapter, Recommendations. The research report should conclude with the recommendations developed from the analysis and findings of the study. This is critical section and should highlight your specific contributions. Cross-referencing. All references, books, journals, magazines, newspapers, reports, proceedings listed in the project report should be cross-referenced in the text at appropriate places. For example, appendices. Additional information like questionnaire, list of dealers, details of product portfolio, etc. are put in appendices. Long and short reports. There are two types of reports on the basis of needs of the situation. The longer the problem and more formal the situation, the more involved the report structure is likely to be. The shorter the problem and less formal the situation, the less involved the report structure is likely to be. Characteristics of shorter reports. Shorter report has little need for introductory material. They usually begin directly with conclusions and recommendations. Personal writing is common in the shorter reports. The reasons are that the shorter reports usually involve personal relationships, concern a personal investigation, are routine. The short report consists of a little page and the report text. It is usually in the direct order, beginning with the conclusion. Characteristics of longer reports. The needs should determine the structure of long formal reports. The presentation pattern of the long report is as follows. Prefatory parts. Title fly, title page, authorization message. Transmittal message, preface or foreword. It also contains the table of contents, list of illustrations with executive summary. The report part. Introduction, the report findings, summary, conclusion or recommendation. Appendix parts. Appendix, bibliography, formal and informal reports. Formal reports are those reports which are prepared with complete format of report writing, take a long time to prepare and have to be documented and used for a long duration. Informal reports are short reports which may not have the complete format of report writing, is more condensed than the formal report, but it is just as important the writing. Outline for the informal report. The informal report has the following elements. Title page, title, author's name, course contents. Introduction, purpose, overview, importance of the subject matter, objectives for this particular report. Description of process and results. Understanding description, procedure followed for obtaining results, important governing equations, description of results, tables and graphs presenting results, uncertainties, relevant comparisons with theory. Discussion, brief review of results if necessary, discussion, trends in results, comparison with theory, answers to discussion questions in report requirements section, conclusions supported by data. Things to avoid in informal reports. Too much clip art, clutter, write justified pages, weird fonts, tiny type, use 10 to 12 point, larger is usually better. Formats, letter, between organizations, memo, within an organization, report, when the information is more complex or the findings are longer, standard forms, when appropriate and available. Types of informal reports. Information, just the facts. Recommendation, answers a request for facts and conclusions, recommendations. Justification, unsolicited advice, not as bad as it sounds. Progress, how those recommendations are going. Summary, the highlights of a longer report. File, follow-ups of often otherwise unrecorded events. The report writing process. Pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, proofreading. Formatting tips. Use appropriate headings. Keep headings parallel. Use templates in Word, effective headings. Use different levels. Use parallel constructions. Avoid quotation marks. Keep headings simple and short but clear. Keep headings absolutely separate from the body of the report. Summary. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learnt in this lecture. The recommendations made in the research report should be in quantitative as well as qualitative. The students have to develop the project from the proposal stage onwards to the final report writing in regular consultation with the faculty. The proposal should contain a brief background of the company, its business and environment, and then a survey of literature and context description of the subject. The academic report is a substantive contribution to knowledge through integration of the review of literature and methodology. A good business report earns good name for the report writers, and its suggestions are considered by the management.